have heard it before.
We have been saying it in the century.
No, part is this. Oh. Yes. It's similar. I think it's actually from Oklahoma. Yeah, I think they're all the teachers from Hope. My friend Kathleen, she's a grade 6 teacher. I started. Sorry? I started. Oh, you're good. I will. Yeah, don't you want to be like going to like? I think so. About to be. I don't know see that. So good. I know how to sing Old MacDonald Had a Farm.
Yeah, we did make a little star. I kind of heard them little bit. That's what makes us so special is where we are. We're like this is the first generation that's growing up. And we are the ones that are like each is like such an honor to be able to be a part of that history.
Yeah, I guess I don't know who all I can do is probably share it with the kids and help them at school, but I think in my community, maybe when I'm done with a certificate program, if I get into the certificate program, I want to talk to my community and start with the younger ones. Start with the younger ones and the parents.
That's how it is where we're at. Like where we're at, we try as best as we can.
Yeah.
It's just the childhood language. You know, like there's some English words in there too. Because it can't be helped, but we try to make it just childhood.
Yeah, I'm going to try to find I think this is amazing. It sounds like we don't have the white voice. We have something need to get some, see if they'll buy some devices and but the little kids are gonna get them no matter what.
Oh,
It's the parents. It's the surprising thing. Isn't that the school song, right?
No, that's the song Whiskey. Whiskey, Rob Dennis Jr. gave to his daughter. He did share it with Hahopeg School. Whiskey.
You must sing it all the time.
That's beautiful.
Well, for these ladies, we're really lucky that we have these talented ladies there.
Because they were going to house.
Are you partaking it? Wow.
I have some fresh hot water for anyone who would like some tea. Is anyone interested in having more coffee? I can make another pot of coffee if anyone would like some. There's probably one more cup in there. I'm not hearing any takers. I'll leave it at that.
We're ready to start again. I'm going to review the entire alphabet, then focus on the vowels, then we will try to have a little bit of greetings conversation. Can I get a couple people to help me hand this out? So, to the front of the room, and then to the back of the room. You might already have this alphabet handout, so if you already have it and you don't want another one, just let Lisa or Mario know. There we go. All right,
you guys need it?
I figured you had it, most of you. So.
Okay, if you want one, let me know.
This handout has 4 parts. Part 1 shows the Nuu-chah-nulth alphabet in alphabetical order. Part 2 arranges all of the sounds in the alphabet according to how they're made. And part 3 lists an example word for every single letter.
It's different.
Okay. I usually say that there are 45 letters in the Nuu-chah-nulth alphabet. That's not quite right because there are a few letters that we don't see very often, but we do occasionally see. If we added those, then we'd have more than 45. 45 is accounts for the sounds that we usually see. Let's review the example words for all of the letters. Is there anyone here who's never studied the alphabet before? Okay. So I'm going to say, I'm going to give a little bit of extra information for each letter. I'm going to say the letter's name, then the sound that it makes, then the example word for it. So our first letter is short A. Short A says Our example word is put put. Put put. Put put is an old-fashioned mode that has an inboard mode. Long A says as in wah. Plain C says sup. As in soppin. We're going to focus on the vowels tonight, but if you have a question about any letter, please feel free to stop us. Hard C says ta. As in tawa. C wedge says cha. As in chuckle. Hard C wedge says cha. As in chapas. Short E says as in wet itch. Long E says happiness. H says H says Husman. Back H says Hayu. Short I says Himix. Long I says Teach. K says Cook. Round K says Quistu. Hard K says Hard round K says Quiz. Hard L says Hard lambda says Klama. Hard lambda says Klesuk. M says Mamati. Hard M says Mamitsu. N says Nunuk. Hard N says Hootney. Long O says Oranges. Why did we skip short O?
It doesn't exist, does it?
Well, it's not used in this dialect, but it is used in the Cayuga Checoslovakia dialect.
Oranges.
He says Powitz. Hard P says Puppy. Q says Kawi. Round Q says Quinny. S says Saucin. S wedge says Shukwa. T says Tupkuk. Hard T says Tattoos. Short U says Mukwa. Long U says Moo. W says what? We up. Hard W says what? Supwa.
Suwa.
X says ka.
Kaumen. Kaumen.
Round X says kwa.
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 Back X says ka.
Ha.
Round back X says kwa.
Kwa. Muhoshkin. Muhoshkin.
Y says ya.
Ya.
Yacha.
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 Hard Y says ya.
Yeah.
See ya.
Siya.
See ya.
Siya.
Lotto stop says ama.
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 Pharyngeal stop says anus.
Honest.
Anus.
Honest.
Let's focus on just the vowels. There are 10 vowels, A, E, I, O, U. Each one can be short or long, except that short O is not used in this dialect. Our example words for the 10 vowels, let's go through them. I've written the 10 vowels on what I call the vowel triangle. The vowel triangle represents where in the mouth they're made. Everyone say E.
E.
Your tongue should be high and towards the front of your mouth.
E.
Now say ooh. Your tongue is high towards the back of your mouth. Now say ah.
Ah.
Your tongue and your jaw are low. So this triangle represents where your tongue is when you say these vowels. And there are ways that these vowels are connected that knowing the triangle will help you understand. Let's review each of the vowel sounds now, starting with short I. Imix.
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 E.
E.
Teach.
Teach.
Teach. O.
O.
Mukmukwa.
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 Ooh.
Ooh.
Moo.
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 Oh.
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 Not used in this dialect. Oh.
Oh.
Oranges.
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 Up. Put.
Put. Put.
Put.
Put. Put.
Ah.
Ah.
Wow.
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 Eh.
Which.
Which. Happiness.
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 The vowels of Nuchanov are pretty easy for English speakers to pronounce. That's because English is a language it already has lots of vowels. English speakers know lots of vowels and are very sensitive to the different vowel sounds. So we can say them and we can hear them easily. The only vowel sound that really gives English speakers a problem is the long O, because the Nuchanov O is different from the English O. The English O is made with a pretty closed mouth. O. O. That's the English O. The Nuchanov O is more open. Oranges.
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 So sometimes English speakers will hear the Nuchanov U as an O, and we'll hear the Nuchanov O as an A. And that's just because the two languages have slightly different settings for where their vowels are pronounced. The only vowel that you're likely to have trouble pronouncing is the long O. Oh. You make the Nuchanov O, just try to make it a little more open and you make it in English. Yes, Andrew?
Is there a Nuchanov word other than a borrowed kind of word that you use the two O's?
Yeah, me is one way that you can call your mom. Me. No way for dad. No way. There is a so pronunciation-wise, vowels don't give us much trouble. Spelling-wise, a lot of people have trouble with the difference between short A and short U because of confusion from the English spelling system. In Nuchanov, we use the short A for the sound. Put, put. Put, put. We use the short U for the sound. Nu. In English does not have a phonetic alphabet. Every vowel letter can represent more than one sound. But the Nuu-chah-nulth alphabet is a phonetic alphabet. Each letter represents the same sound, always. Short U is always the sound. Short A is always the sound. If you forget that, then I recommend using our example words to help yourself remember. Think of the words put-put and muk-mukwa. And that will remind you of the sound of short A and the sound of short U. And if you're a teacher, as many of you are, this is a good trick to use with your students as well. Another good word for the short U is tupko. Elsie, do you have your hand up?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not as open as yeah, well, yes, it is. Yeah, especially when you're trying to pronounce something that's not in your native language. Yeah, but you can learn it just by listening. Listen to it. The way an elder says, "Oh, you just echo, oh, me, no, wait."
Exactly.
Okay, let's take a look at our greetings conversations. Okay, those of you who were here last term might already have this handout. If you don't want a second copy, just let Lisa or Mario know. They're good.
We're good.
That's okay, it always takes a few bad people.
One of us with one of each of these ladies that haven't been here before.
Yeah.
Enough for me.
I won't have any extras next time. Just kidding.
I feel confident. Okay. Yeah, I totally feel fine.
Do this
With Tanya? Yeah, I can do Tanya, definitely.
All right.
I just want to make sure.
I'll feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
Doing it
I work anyways. Yeah.
Tricky. Totally right. The middle part of it. Oh, this is one of the other ones. These ones are these ones. There was one of them we did it, but it was probably the other ones, but I didn't know the middle one. Like one middle that I didn't get. But now I put these and we just go up to
AB.
Last year we practiced conversation 7 and 8 quite a lot.
7 and 8.
So how many people feel comfortable with conversation 7 and 8 already? Raise your hands. Okay. To those, we added 6, 9, and 10. Does anyone feel comfortable with conversation 6, 9, and 10? Not so comfortable. So we're going to practice these together, but I don't want to spend very much time practicing them as a large group. I want to give you more time to practice with a partner. But it takes some practice to learn how to make the most of your time with a partner. While we were practicing the alphabet, I was leading you through the alphabet and you were all repeating after me. And that's not a very efficient way for us to use our time. A much more efficient way is if we can quickly decide as a large group what we're going to work on, and then you can go into pairs and trios and work on that yourself. Ideally, you'll have a partner or partners who are close to your skill level, close enough that you can practice the same things, but different enough that the person who's more ahead can help the person who's less far ahead. So right now I think we're going to, after we review this together, we're going to break up into small groups for about 5 minutes. And I'm going to challenge you to make the most of that 5 minutes, to use as many of those minutes as possible for real practice in the language.
Oh my gosh.
Come back next week.
If you leave tonight at 8:30, having all 5 of these mini conversations memorized, then you will have used your time well. If you can't do that, then you should memorize as much as you can tonight and get yourself ready to make the most of your next practice and the one after that and the one after that. So as soon as possible, you will be completely comfortable with all 5 of these conversations. The audio is available to you online. You don't need to be in the same room with me or even an elder to practice these, because you can listen to that audio as many times as you need to. Once you develop those skills, you'll be able to get much more efficient practice with yourself or with a partner that you work well with. So I'm going to suggest focusing first on conversations 6, 7, and 8. If you are a complete beginner, then I suggest focusing on conversation 7. Because conversation 7, are you okay? I'm okay, gives you a greeting that you can start using right away. Conversation 7 is also most people find it fairly easy to say, whereas conversation 6 is less easy to say. So that's why I recommend starting with 7, and then going to 6. If you're comfortable with 6, 7, and 8, then you can try to add 9 and 10. And this again is why it's important to have someone who's close to you in skill level. If you don't know any of these and you're working with someone who already knows all 5s, it's not going to be very interesting or challenging for them to work with you. But someone who knows all 5 can work with someone who knows 4 and help them learn that last one. Or 2 beginners can work together. Or someone who's a beginner and someone who already knows 1 or 2. So we'll start from the easiest and gradually work up to the hardest. So these are roughly the order in which I recommend studying these. The easiest one is conversation 7. Chachim hehak. Chachim hehak. Are you okay? Chachim hehak. Those are back H's, not plain H's. It's not chachim hehak. Chachim hehak. Chachim hehak. And the response, chachim heimach. Chachim heimach. I'm okay. Chachim heimach. Chachim heimach. Yuhahak. Yuhahak. Chachim hai. Chachim hai. Are you okay too? Yuhahak. Chachim hai. Yuhahak. Chachim hai. Chachim heimach. Yuhahak. Chachim hai. Chachim heimach. Yuhahak. Chachim hai. Chachim heimach. Yuhahak. Chachim hai. There's something a little weird in this conversation that throws some people off at first. It's that A asks a question, B responds, and then B asks his own question, but there's no further response. So that's a little unnatural, right? We're doing that for a reason. We're giving B this. We're having B ask a question and response because we want that to be a reflex. When someone asks you if you're okay, you should respond and then ask in return, or if they're okay. It's not necessary while you're learning this to respond in turn. Once you're comfortable with it, then you can start extending the conversation. But for now, just leave it hanging. It's okay that B asks a question and A doesn't respond. Now let's move on to the next one. The next easy one is conversation 8. Pokemon. It's nice weather. Pokemon. This is pretty easy to say. The challenge is that there's a Q and a K. Q and K are very similar but different. Q is further back. K is further forward. Pokemon. Trevor taught us a trick last time, which is to use your body to demonstrate that when you go your tongue is moving from the back to the front. The response, anima. Anima. It sure is. It sure is nice. Anima. 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 Once you're comfortable with 7 and 8, you can go on to 6. This has 2 back H's, glottal stops, and a barred lambda, which are challenging to put in the same word. To make it easy, once you know those sounds, it'd be difficult to put them all into one word. You can make it easier by speaking slowly and breaking into syllables. The syllables are Say it as slowly as you need to. It's more important to say it right than to say it fast. The response is It's me. Comment?
Akla.
Yeah, that's right. Number 2 is buried in there. Yeah. But this ends in a back H. Whereas atla 2 does not. And if you have an English accent, as most of us do, you will be really tempted to drop back H's at the ends of words. But we're not allowed to do that and speak good Nuchanov. Nuchanov has lots of back H's, and many of them are the ends of syllables and the ends of words, and they're all strongly pronounced. At the beginning, you'll have to force yourself to say that, but it gets easier with practice. Okay? Oh, yes, I see what you're
Trying to do it in the middle.
Because that's what I'm doing. Yeah, so the A separate. No, the A separate. Yeah. Yeah, the A separate. Because when you look at it, it looks like it's supposed to be.
Written slightly differently, but is that when would you use that times I use is that you? Because if I see my coworkers, I wouldn't say is that you. Yeah.
Do you have a response to that, Trevor?
I'm not a cheeky one. That's me. Yeah.
Yes, Aaron?
Just that it's a convention that we have to say like, oh, is that you? Like kind of half being silly, like half being serious. Like, is that you, Allison? Like they would always like
It's a greeting.
yeah.
So you would just use it and sort of like, hey, you kind of thing, like.
Yeah, like oh hey.
It's just a basic conversation that you would use to say, hi, how are you kind of thing?
Yes. Yeah, in Nuchanov, is that you is a neutral greeting.
Okay.
Unlike in English, it would be, we would only say that if we didn't actually know if it was
You were
them.
wearing a mask?
Yeah.
Is that you? I used to wonder that
Stuff like
too.
right? The word hello, the English word hello used to be a way of getting someone's attention. Or asking, is there anyone there? Hello, hello. And people started saying hello when they started using telephones because you couldn't see the person you're talking to. And they would go, hello, 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 is anyone there?
Oh.
And then hello became a normal word. Before that, it wasn't a normal greeting.
Okay.
Brittany, did you have something to say?
Oh, I was just gonna say, it's kind of like a cultural thing, it's, where, you know, some people, it's almost a slang, but not slang, you know, it's like, where it's common for a lot of young people to say, hey, sup? I mean, you're not actually literally asking what is up.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, it's just a greeting for the culture of the area, and you think of where most people would be seeing each other, they'd be seeing each other in boats, and you're like, is that you? And it's more of a, yeah, right? Right? Yeah.
Okay. I figured.
Yeah, I was actually wondering the same thing too. So I was kind of thinking, when would they use that? If you see the person, it's kind of obvious.
Yes, that's a good question, Allison. As another example, how are you is a neutral greeting in English, but in Nuchanov, it's not neutral. When you say how are you, in Nuchanov, it implies, if you say how are you, it implies that something was wrong with them before. Like you've been sick, how are you now? Whereas are you okay or is that you are a neutral greeting. And so that's just something that varies from culture to culture. So once you've mastered 6, 7, and 8, the next one to work on is 9. Uyakla. Nachua. Suwa. Uyakla. Nachua. Suwa. I'll see you later. Uyakla. Nachua. Suwa. Chu Uyaklan. And the hardest conversation out of the greetings is conversation 10. U'athuk i'atha. Take care. U'athuk i'atha. You kwe i'atha.
Yukwe Iata.
Uasuk.
Yukwe Iata. Uasuk.
So now I would like to take at least 5 minutes to practice these conversations. Please find one or at most two other people that you're going to practice with. You're going to find someone who's close but not exactly the same level as you are. Then go somewhere quiet. If this room is too noisy, you can go into one of the side rooms. We'll do that for 5 minutes, and then I'll call you back. And your goal is to speak better when you come back than when you left. You should be speaking your channel the entire practice time. Don't just run through the conversations and then have a conversation in English. Choose 5 minutes.
Okay. I forgot your name.
Do you want to join us?
Right?
I'm Kathleen.
Okay, so you guys gonna go?
So is it like
Okay, so
Okay.
I'm A, you're B, then you're A, then you're.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. Okay, so I'm A. So we go cha-ching.
Chuchim Hamak. Chuchim Hamak.
So now I'm up 6A.
Wait, cha-ching hamak.
Chuchim Hamak. Chuchim Hamak.
No, cha-ching, yeah. Now we're going to take the next
Anima.
Wikma. Ooh. Don't know how to say it. It's not a question.
I got this one.
Statement.
Anima, then you say.
Anima.
It sure is nice weather.
Anima. Anima.
Yeah.
Anima.
True.
Anima.
I hear hey.
Anima.
I just think it came in maybe the first time. Touch him.
Anima.
Wik.
Okay.
Maslukma.
Listen, we're going to touch him.
Anima.
Anima. Okay,
Then he said that got you one.
Oh,
I have trouble with the H's in there. Okay.
You still even know.
Chim.
I know I did.
Chim.
Is it that A before the Say it again,
Wait, say it again.
Wakey, yeah.
Wait.
I don't think I did
Let's do that now. Okay, let's do that now.
But it doesn't.
Are we
Okay, 6, 7, 8. Ooh, this one. See you later. Oh,
That's okay. Oh, okay.
Is that my part? Oh, I'm a chew.
True.
Okay.
What did you add at the
Touch. We'll see each other. Touch. It's a word you can add. So you can add another word that means to each other. That's the hard key.
Like, is that like stop then? Like stop then, respect each other? Stop.
Yeah. How you say respect each other.
Yeah. I have to sign up for classroom. Stop and who please stop and help each other.
Oh my God, yes, see, that makes sense to me too. That's how I put it together sometimes. Okay, I need to practice this again.
Took me so long to get that. It is this tricky.
True. We are. That's supposed to be Lord. Not true.
Is that
True.
Yeah, that's really good.
True. We are.
Number 10.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
It helped me because I'm still, some idea, but I definitely doing that whole time. Because I used to be noticing that. Are you related to him? Sounds like he's in waiting.
Myself some good practice. How many people honestly feel that they make the most of their 5 or 6 minutes? Good for you. Well done. I'll tell you too. So I would like to make that practice longer and longer. Work up to 15 or 20 minutes of practice so that you can go off into your corner, get some really good practice, but you have resource people here available in case you have any questions. But that takes discipline on all our part, and it also takes some organization to make sure that we're pairing people with someone who's going to help them or that they're going to help. Is there anyone who would rather not be put into a group? But not of their own choice. You can also tell me privately. If you really need to work with someone else and you're not comfortable working with other people, you can let me know by email or messenger or in person. Otherwise, next week I'm going to start assigning groups. I'm also going to invite people to lead each group. And everyone will get a chance to be Ma Mieksu. When you're the most advanced person in your group, then you're the Ma Mieksu of that group. And your role is to try to see where everyone is. Go just fast enough that they can keep up and learn something and improve. Not so fast that they get lost and confused and unhappy, but fast enough so that to challenge the younger siblings in your group. Also, I know that some of you are undertaking serious study in the language this year. There's a series of courses being offered through Kokotsa Language Society. Some of you are doing classes in addition to this, and you're looking for serious conversation partners to make up lots more conversation. So if you're one of those people looking for a partner for extra practice, you can let me know, and I'll do my best to help people find each other, help find partners who will help them progress. So please let me know if you have any reservations about that, or if you're looking for a partner. Next week, we will continue studying greetings and classroom language. And I will do my best to share resources with you well ahead of time so that you can come to class as prepared as possible. Thank you all for coming, and I look forward to seeing you next Thursday. Juge.
Klecko, klecko.
Thank you, Tanya.
Thank you.
Are you at the?
Yeah.
Friday.
I was told that I should, so as long as I'm in town.
Okay. You should.
Well, if you're interested, our circle's at 9:45. If you want to join our circle. Yeah. I think you would really enjoy it. It's quite simple. It's pretty cool.
Oh, here's your pencil back here. Thank you.
No, so forget it.
Oh, thank you.
So they're already at
Okay.
In a long time.
Yeah, you chose this.
I'm teaching math.
Yeah, so the way the dialects work is pretty much every sound is a dialect. The types of each sound speak similar. I think it's just because, in fact, and we're in traditional times.